Hey guys. Okay, so first order of business, I am not dead, as evidenced by my current living state. I am sorry about not having any videos for the last couple of months. I'm going to try to get my thoughts organized. That's never going to happen. I haven't had a video out in a while, and I apologize for that. I've shot some footage, but I haven't had time to edit it. So you guys know I've got my little branding iron business thing going on, right? I sell my branding irons. Well, I spent most of the summer trying to prepare for the Christmas rush. I was trying to build the little machine, which is sitting here. Kind of a spoiler, you can sort of see some things, but that's okay. And I was trying to prepare stock. I had piles of brass prepped. You can see, I don't know if you can see how much smaller the pile is now, but so the month of October began, I don't even remember the last time I posted a video. Now here's why the video slowed down. Slowed down, kind of stopped completely, right? Yeah. So October began as, from a sales standpoint in the branding iron world, it started, the first 3 weeks of October were less than half of my worst month prior. Like, I was starting to kind of worry that I'd had my run and it was done, right? Meanwhile, I had all sorts of brass prepped. I was getting handles made. I was having progress on the CNC, on the little mini guy, all that sort of stuff. But then on around October 20th, from the 20th to the 31st, the last 10 or 11 days of October, tripled the October sales for the month. Tripled in 10 days. It went from being less than half of my worst month ever to second place best month. Almost the second best month I'd ever had. Little did I know, I was kind of surprised by that. Pretty exciting, right? Little did I know that that was just the beginning of the Christmas rush. I just, as full disclosure, I averaged probably 32 to 33 orders a month up until the end of October. November was 86 and December was 127. To say that I've been busy is a gross understatement. That is what has stopped me from pumping out videos, because I'd get done in the shop. I was pulling 14, 16 hour days, and video editing is not fun. It's the least favorite part of the entire process of doing videos, is the editing. So what happens is I end up shooting a ton of footage, and then I have to like set aside hours, not a couple of minutes, hours. You know, I know that my editing style is not that rich, but even the crappy editing that I'm doing takes forever. It's slow. It's so slow. So I put it all aside because priorities. I had to earn the living, you know. In those 2 months and some change, what is that? So in like 60 days, maybe 50 days. Yeah, because it all ended like on like the 20th of December. It was all sort of calm after that. From about the 20th of October to the 20th of December, so in about 2 months worth of time, I did more than half of my sales for the year, which was cool. I mean, who's not going to have a problem with that? I mean, that's pretty good. Or who's going to have a problem with that? I'm not making any sense. So anyways, I wanted to let everybody know, first, I'm sorry that I haven't put any videos out. I'm also sorry that I've kind of been ignoring pretty much the internet lately. It's been head down making irons and getting things together, and there were times I was bringing 25 or 30 irons to the post office. It was busy, very busy. Good busy. It's good to have that problem, right? That's not a big deal. It's not a bad deal. It's a good thing. But it meant extracurricular stuff went out the window. I haven't played my guitars in forever. I haven't put up a video in forever. I haven't done a lot of the things that I would do recreationally. So they are coming. There will be some more progress. I got a few days worth of footage in the can on the little mini CNC. So I'll probably get those edited soon. I'm done doing weeklies. I'm not putting that hectic pressure on myself anymore. I'm done scheduled. I'm done doing it scheduled. They'll come out when they come out. I'm sorry that if that's not up to people's desires. I'm just not able to put that much time into it anymore. I've been busy, and editing sucks. It's a pain in the ass. So I'll do it when I feel like doing it, and they'll go up. I'm not going to stop shooting. I do like shooting. There were a few steps on the mini CNC towards the end that I just powered through and didn't film because I was in the midst of business, but also had a day where there was no orders, and I was able to like go out and do something on the machine because I wanted to get this machine before this Christmas rush. Luckily, that little guy, big guy, held it together the entire time. I am pleased and surprised that it did hold together, but that means this thing needs to get done soon. I want to get it out of the way because the next step after this is done and it's running my irons, I want that machine to get overhauled. While I was tripping over things, I don't know if you noticed my backdrop has changed a little bit. I switched out the bins for the scraps. I'm going to give you guys a vlog here for just a little bit. I switched out all the bins of scraps that I used to have back there. All of what you see on these shelves was in those bins. They just take up a quarter of the space they were, or maybe half the space. I did go up, so that helped, but it's shallower and there's a lot of extra space now. So I'm going to start putting things over there, and I'm trying to get myself a bit more organized to get, you know, the process for the irons, the process for the shipping, all that sort of stuff. Oh, you guys haven't seen them yet. This I posted on Facebook. Let me grab a handle. Big deal. So at the end of December, I have probably almost 600 orders, 600 irons that I've made since last year, since December 2016, since I opened the store. I opened the store on December 5th. So in that time, I've done about 600 irons, maybe 570, 560, somewhere in there. None of those irons have any way. If you looked at one of those irons I shipped out, you would have no idea who made it, which was one, kind of a mistake, but also two, coming up with a way to mark the irons in any way to get my name on them. It's not as easy as it seems. A lot of people go, oh, just engrave it. I go, okay, so engraving, great. I've got 500 blanks to set up and engrave all of those, and that's a time investment that this little machine can't do very well. It doesn't do engraving very well. Maybe the big machine doesn't do engraving very well. The new machine would be able to do engraving, but it's a step. It's tying it up doing stuff. So I started thinking about laser etching or sending them off and having them engraved somehow. I also looked at like chemical etching, so like doing some sort of a mask and burn off my logo or whatever and then chemically etch the brass. I really kind of wanted it on the brass, but it turns out it is doable, but it is a little less common, a little less prevalent. It's not as easy. It's doable, but it's not quite as easy. So I started looking at, should I go buy a laser, and a laser that'll etch brass reliably without a coating, because there's a coating that you can put on that'll do the marking, but if it's something you flame heat and use to burn wood, how long is that coating going to last? I don't know, and I didn't want to find out. So I chucked the idea of putting it on the brass itself, and I've got my stainless steel handles, and I have a friend that's doing my wood handles. I've thought about marking the handle, the wood. I've thought about marking the brass. What I came up with is I went to a local engraving store, and I had them do this. Come on, focus. Focus. Hey, check it out, huh? That looks damn professional to me. So that is now, for every iron that I sell, is going to go out with my name on it, which is not ideal because there are 500 or so out there that don't have my name on it. But still, it's a stepping stone. It's a milestone. And I have always, through this entire business venture, done what I could now with an eye towards later if it grows. And so I'm not jumping into it, buying up a bunch of stuff or putting a bunch of money into something that I had no promise of it coming down. Since December 5th, I finally have some year-over-year data, only granted a month, but I still have some data that I can look at now and start predicting, and I can relax a little bit about spending too much money on things. I know I was investing in a machine, which that's already money spent, And that's an investment. That I didn't even start until summer. By the time then, I'd had 6 or so months of, it seems like this thing's going to work. And then October, November, and December happened. This is now a job. Anyway, so in the spirit of optimizing, like I really geek out on finding the best ways to mass produce items and deciding whether I should make the thing that I need, like the handles, or if I should send out for them. Because a lot of times the time I would spend working on that would be better spent doing other more, not just more revenue increasing things, but more soul enriching, more enriching things. Things I wanted to do. I can't stand turning, so I don't do the wood turning. I have somebody do it. The product isn't the handle, the product is the iron. The handle's an accessory to the iron, so I'll focus on the core and focus on what my interests are, because I'll just go that direction. So, man, I'm not going to get anywhere. This is going to be a mile-long video. So, I've got some things I've done, I've been working on in prepping the brass and things like that. So I think I showed a time-lapse of cutting up the pieces. There was a problem after that step. So I've got all these 1.5" chunks cut up. And they're sawn on both faces. Both faces are rough. I don't know if you'll be able to see the roughness there, but that corrugation that you see is definitely not a part of what I want on my finished surface. So I ran out of 1.5" brass last week. I finally used them up. I had like 85 prepped or something like that. And I ran out. I was getting nervous, but I got through, I made it just past Christmas, the Christmas rush, just past that, before I ran out. So it's time to start prepping brass. Well, a very good friend of mine, his name is Frank, sent me, I'm not going to give you any more information than Frank. He sent me a tool that's going to help a lot in preparing the brass, because the next step after this is it goes in the lathe, and I have to face, I'm going to face both faces, but I have to turn one face, and then I drill and tap and countersink stuff to get to this point where there's a nice clean face and there's a hole drilled and tapped. That process, before the gizmo I just got from Frank, would take rechecking every time, because changing, so let's think about the tools that I need first. I need a drill. In fact, olden days, the previous ones, I needed a spot drill, which is a really short stubby drill that doesn't wiggle when you drill, when you start, so it doesn't move off center, it stays centered. It's called a spot drill or a center drill. You do that first, then you come after it with a regular drill bit, and that starting hole keeps the real drill bit that's longer and flexible from, keeps it drilling true. So the step was center drill, drill, plug tap, which is a tapered tap, it's easier to start, bottoming tap because it's a blind hole and I want to get threads all the way to the bottom, and then a countersink after that. And I stopped doing the countersink on the lathe because it was just another process. The old days, changing out from the center drill to the regular drill to the tap to the bottoming tap to the countersink in the tailstock chuck took longer and was very process interrupted. It was like this constant flow of, like it was constant jumping from one operation to the other, because it depended on, like the speeds were changing, you'd have to grab the chuck key over and over, like all this stuff was happening. So what I ended up doing, and this worked really well when I did the 2-inch, I would chuck it in the lathe and I would face, then I would throw it in a bin, then I'd grab another one and I'd chuck it in the lathe and I'd face, and I'd throw it in a bin, and I'd go through all of them and I'd do all the facing in one shot. I was doing it with a power drill and it was really fast. Then I would rechuck that part, the same part I just faced, I would rechuck all those parts again and do the center drill. Actually, let me take you back a step. I would face and do the center drill in one op. I wouldn't rechuck for that, because it dawned on me that I didn't need to rechuck to do the centering. So there's one step of optimization, and this is my constant like reviewing and ramping up the level of optimization. So then it was drill to the depth, throw it in a bin, drill to the depth, throw it in the bin, rechuck, drill in the drill, rechuck, drill, rechuck. Okay. Then once they were all drilled, they got rechucked again, and a plug tap was done, and it would do the plug tapping, do all the plug tapping, rechuck, rechuck, rechuck. So I kept putting the part in the lathe chuck, which was fine, because many things are very forgiving in this world, because the in the branding irons, because the center of the hole doesn't have to be concentric at all. It doesn't matter. It can be off by 1/8 of an inch. Nobody's going to notice. It's not going to matter. It's going to balance a little bit, but it's like, from a quality standpoint, my little mini lathe and rechucking, I was getting well within acceptable concentricity. So that's why I was rechucking the part more and more and more, because just doing a Jacobs chuck over and over again was really irritating. I tried it. Believe me, I tried it. It was faster to rechuck in a 3-jaw scroll chuck the part than it was in a Jacobs chuck every tool each time. But, long-winded version here, sorry. No, I always do this. You guys are used to it. So, what I wished for was the ability to chuck up the part once and do as many things to it as I possibly could before rechucking, because that was a slowdown. It was absolutely a slowdown. It was the fastest, slowest way. I mean, it was the quickest, slow way, but it wasn't very fast at all, because rechucking is slow. Fast forward to a couple of weeks ago, my friend Frank had a tailstock turret. I don't know if you guys know what those are, but you're about to see one here in a second. It allowed me to hold multiple tools and switch to them very quickly, so I could chuck the part, drill, tap, bottom tap, and countersink all within like no time. I took a little quick video with my phone. I'm sorry that it's jerky and crappy camera work, but here's a quick look at just an explanation of the turret. Sorry for the mess, but pay attention here. This is the thing. This is the turret that'll make my drilling, tapping, all that sort of stuff for the brass a lot faster. So right there's the drill bit that's set up for drilling. This is a stop made of Delrin to drill at 300 thou, and we just go boop and countersink and boop, plug tap and boop, bottoming tap, and then one more click and boop, we're reset to go. This turned 4 chuckings into a single chucking, and it worked beautifully. I just did this one. It took maybe a minute to do the facing and all of that. And the reason I have it turned this way, I've rotated it, is so that this and all of this stuff clears everything here, so I don't have to take the tool off. It's perfect. This is going to make things so much faster. Apologies for the mess and the shitty camera work. That's this guy back here. Thanks to Frank, that turret is going to make things go so much faster, because it used to be rechuck, drill, rechuck, tap, rechuck, bottom, rechuck, countersink. Like if I went through all the steps. A couple of things you might have noticed is there's no more center drilling, because I got these really cool, really handy drills that are the size of the tap drill, 13/64 for my 1/4-20. That might be a little bit oversized, but it works. It works beautifully. I got these cool little drills, and they're this little guy here. Let's see if we can get you a view. Can you see those? I don't know if you can. The lighting's not the greatest. There we go. So it's a little short stubby drill, and there's a thread on the end, so that goes into, that's what's behind that Delrin, is it goes into the turret's tool holder and just threads in. So I got a few of these, but the drills last, I have yet to go through a drill after drilling 700 of these things, probably 600 or 700, yeah, probably 600 or 700 of these things in brass with the same drill. So I don't expect to need too many. I bought 5, but I suspect they're going to last a long time. So those little guys are short, and they're not prone to wobbling or wandering, so I don't need the center drill anymore. So I've eliminated a step. I've made them really easy to chuck. The Delrin little guy, I don't know if you noticed, but it's got a little couple of wings instead of just a depth stop type of thing that's a circle, that's just a complete circle. Those wings allow the chips to clear past the flutes. And still bump up against the surface of the brass. The other thing is it's Delrin, so it's not going to mar the surface of the brass. So if it's already been faced and it's a really nice surface finish, I didn't want steel or aluminum or any of that stuff to bump it and then mar the finish or mar the surface of it. So it just worked out really good. So I'm not going to be doing them every week. I can't promise a Saturday video every week. I don't like editing enough, and to make that schedule, I thought making the schedule would motivate me. It turns out it's just demotivating. I just don't want to do it, and I find a bunch of excuses, and I wait till Friday night to do it, and it just adds more stress. So what I'll do is when I get to a situation where I've got a few minutes and I can edit some, I'll throw a video together, and I will keep posting videos, but it's just not going to be the constant, like, weekly. I'll probably, you know, it could be a couple of weeks. I could just get a wild hair and decide to do a bunch of editing one day and flip, you know, 6 or 7 videos out. That's not going to happen. Maybe 1 or 2 at a time, maybe. I haven't forgotten about the guitar. It's still hanging up in the house, just waiting for me to get the patience to finish the lacquer. I may have to take it back. I didn't put a lot of, I didn't put enough pore filler in, so the lacquer is still fairly dimpled, and I'm not a fan. I'm not sure I'm a fan of that, maybe. Yeah, so I just have to, I gotta find that gumption. I need to get the little machine done back here. I need to get him done. There are some episodes filmed and just waiting for me to edit, so you'll see some updates. That'll probably be the next videos you see from me. Not sure when. Might be a week or 2, might be a month, I don't know. I'm kind of winging it at this point. I still like doing the videos. I still like sharing what I've gone through. I still like, you know, showing off what's going on in the shop a bit, and it's fun to read your comments. That's nice, except for the jerks lately. Those have been nice. Those have been really nice. Anywho, God, Beamer, shut the hell up and just post the video up. Sorry. Thanks for your support. Thank you all. I appreciate it. I hope you had a good Christmas. I hope you had a good New Year. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. I hope you had a good Halloween. What other holidays did I miss? I hope you had a good quarter. That's enough. So why don't we all just get after it?